Tensions ramp up across East Jerusalem after the funeral of a murdered Palestinian teen. As mortars hit southern Israel and reports emerge of a possible ceasefire, Israel's foreign minister tells i24News that mutual calm is the wrong approach. And in the Football World Cup, quarterfinals are starting this evening with matches between France and Germany and Brazil, as well as Colombia. Good evening. You're watching i24 News. Well, let's begin with our top story. Clashes broke out in several locations around East Jerusalem just earlier today as Muslim Friday prayers came to an end. Hundreds of Palestinian youths rioted and hurled rocks at police. And in the last 2 days, tensions have spiked now in the last 2 days since the discovery of the body of a murdered Palestinian teen, Mohammed Abu Khder. Now, Palestinians say he was murdered in retribution for the kidnap and killing of 3 Israeli teens just this month. Yesterday, the Israeli Prime Minister vowed a swift police investigation into this case and pledged that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. The police investigation is currently underway, and an official gag order has been put in place until it reaches a final conclusion. And we're joined now by i24 News reporter Danny Spibel, who's in East Jerusalem covering the events. Thank you very much for joining us. What can you tell us? What has it been like out there today from your own experience?
Good evening, Natalie. We arrived at the Shuafat neighborhood, and apparently some of the major parts of the clashes had dissipated by the time we arrived. But we were greeted by about 12 to maybe 15 Palestinian youths who were covered in keffiyehs. They were, at that time, flinging rocks at the Israeli authorities, who we saw off in a distance. We heard loud booms. There were tear gas canisters being fired in our direction to disperse the crowds, and we got out of the way because we wanted to get to our own safety. We actually then made it to the Israeli authorities, and we came under bombardment by several rocks, maybe a dozen, maybe even about 20, to maybe even 30. There was rocks coming from all directions from the Palestinian youths, and we actually took on some of the rocks ourselves. Some of the cameramen and myself included got hit with some of these rocks. The scene was very intense, and there was a lot of chaos. Behind me, you could see a bus stop that has been completely burned. All the glass has been completely destroyed, and we're surrounded by piles of trash that has been set on fire earlier today. The fires are just starting to go down, and the scene is starting to dissipate. One of the ironic things about our experiences here is that when we were with the Palestinian youths, they were trying to make sure we were okay and we were out of the way of the tear gas and the canisters coming. A tear gas canister like this that was being fired. But then when we made it to the Israeli authorities, they were also making sure that we were safe and we didn't come into contact with some of the rocks. So people maybe abroad can't fully understand that, but here on the scene, we were in the middle, directly in the middle. And right now it's calm, and we hope it stays that way here in Shuafat.
Well, thank you very much for that insight. We do appreciate it, and please stay safe.